It's really funny how I'm taking a part-time job for $13 an hour now for the holidays, but at the same time, there'd be no way I'd ever keep it. For zang-a-lang and salutations, my lovely little lunatic. It's speaking for the psychopath insanity here with my co-host Bob. Hello. And today on the ENSane report, sorry it came out a little bit late, but the whole thing about it is I haven't been feeling well, and I'm also getting ready for finals and all.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's all been going on.
Yeah, luckily, apparently, I didn't get COVID or the flu. I ended up just catching a virus that's going around.
It's amazing that people honestly think you have to have one or the other. You can't just have a minor viral infection.
It's pretty funny about that. But anywho, so today we're going to be talking about, on the ENSane report, we're going to be talking about, like, the labor shortage and all that, and it's pretty funny how Americans are they're done. They don't want to do the job anymore because they realize with inflation that you're just working yourself to death for something that really, in the end, isn't going to help you in any way. But before we get into it, make sure to follow us on Locals,
Rumble,
Minds,
and Bastion. And like and subscribe. Thank you.
Okay, we're just going to jump into it here, because this is pretty interesting, but at the same time makes complete sense. Wham! From the Daily Mail. No end in sight to labor shortage. More than half of Americans who lost their jobs during pandemic say they've no plans to return, with many saying they'll take another 6 months off.
Hey, if you've got the money to do it, why not? That'll just make people more and more willing to give you money. I mean, what was it? Total Wine, we worked there. We're only doing it part-time.
I'm doing under 20 hours just for the holiday season.
And yeah, they already asked if we wanted to keep the job.
And I said no, not at $13 an hour, because I'm doing my associates, I'm doing my cybersecurity boot camp, which, in all honesty, will be done in May. And at that point, I'm going to go, they have already got me lining up for jobs. So at that point in time, why would I take a $13 an hour job when I can go and just start off at $45,000 to $60,000?
Yeah, it really doesn't make sense, and a lot of people are now realizing that.
Yeah, especially because, hell, everything is so much more due to inflation. But continuing on. Poll finds 53% of Americans who lost jobs in pandemic aren't seeking new work. It signals the dire labor shortage will likely continue hampering the economy. And whose fault is that?
Politicians will say it's because you're lazy and stupid.
Well, yes, they would, but we all know it's good old boiled brain Biden and his administration's fault. They just don't understand it.
Well, they have all the money in the world. Why would they care?
Yep, up until it starts affecting them, which probably is going to be soon. Job openings remain near record high, with 10.4 million positions open. But millions have dropped out of the labor force and don't want to work. It's not just that you don't want to work. Think about the pandemic. Think about how many people lost their jobs after working at a place for years. That sense of job security is gone. So if I'm working some garbage dead-end job, which I'm only doing just to make enough, just to get by, and then suddenly, A, the government's paying people and employing more than me, and B, they just kick me out. And then they come crawling back afterwards. I'm like, no, you weren't there when I needed you, so screw you. Continuing on. For thousands of firms worldwide follow Amazon to stop drug testing and firing employees because of the global shortage. So yeah, once again, that's how bad it's gotten.
Oh yeah, I can pretty much tell that after all from Amazon. One of the guys delivered the package, and oh boy, was he dank.
Oh yeah, they don't care anymore. They just don't care, because at the same time, I think that's the funniest thing, that because everyone's having to bend over everywhere I go. Hiring signs, hiring signs, hiring signs, hiring signs, hiring signs. And before, a couple months ago, even though that was still happening, they really didn't stop. I called a bunch of tech sites before tech jobs and all that stuff. Low-end tech jobs. Before I found the cybersecurity bootcamp, and none of them were willing to work with me on anything. I was still going to class, and they were like, no, we don't care. You still have to be here 9 to 5, come to the office. And I'm just like, for an entry-level job, I was like, come on, guys, work with me on this. Maybe something, especially because the whole thing was most of them were temporary jobs. It was just something to pad my resume and earn a little bit of money. The instant I got in my cybersecurity bootcamp, they're calling up, going, "Oh God, please, we need people. I'm like, you willing to pay me $40,000?" And they're like, "God, no. Why would we do that?" And then I just sent them the thing for Rice that I got accepted, and they're like, "Oh." So yeah, once again, like right now, the place I'm working, Total Wine, my job was $10 an hour a couple of months ago. Now it's up to $13. That's the first offer they gave me. Continuing on. A survey found 45,000 firms in 43 countries have stopped testing for recreational drug use in order to fill vacant positions. Because, hey, if you can't get the stuff out, then you make no money. At this point in time, they don't care anymore. Amazon led the wave after it announced in June that it would no longer be testing for marijuana when screening applicants. Another employer survey found a third of companies who want to get rid of testing want to do it because of high marijuana positives in applicants' tests. Yeah, the people who are just doing this, the people who are just doing it to basically barely make it by, they're not going to be the cream of the crop. And Amazon and all these companies now realize, oh darn. Amazon claims can cut prospective applicants to a job by 30%. Oh, yeah. Okay. Continuing on to the next bit of good old what's going on in the world. Here's another big thing.
Oh, yeah, the whole nuclear family thing. I mean, once again, if I don't have a family and I can't, that's the biggest thing. Our grandfather worked. He went to the army, and that was a big help for him with all the money. But at the same time, he never had he worked. He didn't have college education, and he went and worked for Bell and all that stuff, and that got him all he needed. Now, if you don't have a degree, there's no way in hell you're gonna get a good family, or unless you knuckle under for years to be able to own your own business. Which, God, I can't even believe how we would start that. You can't do it. You just can't. And especially a person like us, we have no interest in getting married. We cannot have kids due to all the horrible mental issues and health issues. Don't want to pass that on to a child.
Definitely not.
Yeah, why would we get married? Why would we have a nuclear family? And why would we continue working our butt off to do something that right now is near impossible?
Yeah, at this point in time, working a regular job isn't enough anymore. Like, what was it? The average salary for an American is between like $30,000 and $35,000, and now with inflation being the horrible thing that it is, the only reason I took this job was to earn a little bit of money over the holidays so that I could pay for Christmas presents. But then after that, I'm back to living like I buy $20 of basically. Once a week, I can spend, if I really wanted to knuckle under, I've got my rice cooker, I've got a ton of rice, I buy some beans and all, and I buy fish fillets, and that's about it. Maybe a bag of chicken, and I can live off that easily. But let's continue on. Just 18% of U.S. householders are nuclear families with a married couple and children, down from 40% since 1970 and the lowest since 1959. Because once again, in the 1970s, you could make a living. You could easily. I can't afford a house. I mean, it'll be years. It will be years with my cybersecurity bootcamp thing, which a lot of companies are now taking as a bachelor's. Because that's the whole reason these cybersecurity boot camps have started. Because people don't have the time. Everything's online now, so they need people now. Which they're like, okay, I could go spend $25,000 at Rice University, or I could do this boot camp for 11 and be done in 6 months. It's at this point in time, especially men are saying screw college, which is why a lot of women are now complaining of golden penis syndrome.
What the hell is that?
Basically, since there's more women than men in college nowadays, the men are the one who get to choose who they sleep with. So now even the men basically, it's the whole thing. Women have access to sex, men have access to relationships and marriage. But now the men also have more access, basically have access to everything in college, because they're like, nah, I don't want to sleep with you. And it's hilarious because you've got the higher-end girls who get everyone, but at the same time in college nowadays, now they're all like, oh, it's misogyny. I was like, well, ladies, sorry. You did this to yourself. So, once again, they're doing that, then they leave, and they're like, nah, I'm going to go focus on myself. Because, once again, I know plenty of women now who are hitting their 30s, and suddenly you're like, they're hitting me up because, once again, I've been posting about doing this stuff and then making money and all that kind of garbage. So they suddenly realize they don't want to work till they die. They want to settle down and have kids. And I'm still 6'3", 180 pounds. So they're like, oh, hey, please come talk with me now. And I'm like, no, I've got stuff I need to do. Sorry. Continuing on. The Census Bureau's count showed that 17.8% of the United States' 130 million households featured parents with children under the age of 18. Only 17.8%. That's terrifying. That's only down from 18.6% from last year, but down much more significantly from over 40% in 1970. Once again, it's near impossible to do this without governmental assistance, and then you have the problem with that is you have tons of baby mamas who think they can trap a man, and it doesn't work because he just leaves. There are currently just 23.1 million American homes with those nuclear families, which is the fewest since 1959. Once again, terrifying. The reasons given for the drop include the pandemic, delay, marriage, and continued decline in birth rate. Also this. Biden says reversing rampant inflation is a top priority after cost of living rises 6.2%. Its highest level in 31 years. Manchin slams president for claiming price jumps are transitory and says it's getting worse, which it is. I mean, God, gas is almost $3 here in Texas. That's terrifying.
Oh, yeah, food prices have gone up immensely as well.
Yep, every time I go now, I buy a little bit of extra rice, some beans, and and any other little things that I can throw in there that I can just have for a long period of time. Because at this point in time, every time I go, more money, more money, more money, more money. What would cost me? I was like, yeah, because I've transferred over to fish right now because pork costs have gone crazy. Beef, oh, that's crazy as hell. As for like chicken, somewhat, but same time, I can make a ton of stuff with just fish. So, yeah, it was $19 for 2.5 pounds of tilapia. Not bad. I can do a lot with that. But continuing on. Inflation has reached its highest point in 31 years as prices of everyday consumers' goods rose 6.2% in October 2021. Once again, this was from October. Oh, no, this was from November. The highest it's been since November 1990. Well, the year I was born. The Consumer Price Index was released on Wednesday and shows that gas prices jumped a whopping 59% over last year as the cost of meats increased 24%. When not factoring in food and energy prices, the so-called core CPI was up 0.6% from September 2021 and 6.2% since last year. Businesses are pushing the lack of workers and business increases onto consumers. Yeah, that's how it is. You now might, once again, my job, which would have paid $10 a couple months ago, is now $13 an hour.
Oh yeah, there's a reason they're dealing with you. I went under 20 hours, and then you got sick, and they didn't even say anything.
No, they didn't. They just told everyone else to be careful. They asked me everything about how they think I got sick. Because if a bunch of people get sick, they're screwed because they can't hire quick enough. President Joe Biden said in a statement Wednesday that dealing with the rising inflation will be a top priority for his administration. No, it's not. No, it's not. Just look at their Build Back Better bill. You know what? I could sit here, talk about this, but at the same time, this is another thing. As you can tell, people aren't buying anything as much anymore because as here, COVID has driven Americans to bank $1.6 trillion in excess savings they stashed over fear of economic chaos. Experts warn value of a rainy day money is being slashed by the surging inflation, which once again, don't store your money. Well, store some of it so that you can store enough that you can actually, in case of a medical emergency and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, I'm on crypto, land, ammo. I'm reinvesting in my own education and all that kind of stuff. Because, yeah, this is from December 2nd. COVID-19 has driven Americans to hoard $1.6 trillion in excess savings amidst fear of an economic crisis. The massive amount of savings comes despite experts' warning of inflation slashing the value of these rainy day funds. Yes, that's the problem. People understand that. But at the same time, as long as they can continue to afford things, they're going to. But at the same time, this Christmas, we're having very few gifts around the tree. Mainly, we wouldn't even be doing Christmas, but it's for the little one. We can't just not have Christmas for the kiddo. And yeah, as you can see, as Omicron variant continues to cause economic instability, it's just over and over and over. But yeah, that's the big thing here. Americans are, the economy is not doing well. It's doing absolutely terrible. And I love the fact of all those people now that made like, oh God, think of the economy back when this all started.
Oh yeah, no, it's that stupid thing of save people's lives. And now a lot of people are going homeless. It's absolutely terrible. And at the same time, people are done, especially with inflation. What was it? So many people we knew who did these dead-end jobs just trying to earn enough money said screw it. They left, and now they're getting paid by the government. And even though it's less than what they're making now, after everything's gone back to normal, they're living very like, what was it? The lay down.
Oh yeah, the thing in China, like the lay down act or whatever. I'm trying to think of. Basically, people are living the minimal amount of stuff they can do because this whole consumerism is basically burnt everyone out now. Because now that's the problem. Keep on selling product, keep on consuming product, keep on consuming product. Then inflation hits, you can't consume product. You realize you never needed product, and then you don't buy product, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh God, no!" Because turns out, without all the debt we're putting ourselves into, the economy doesn't run too well, apparently. But yeah, it's going to get worse. It's going to get so much worse because, once again, they're already talking about lockdowns and all that. And if Biden tries to push a lockdown, all blue states will shut down and all red states won't because we're done with this. We realize how bad this is getting. But, anywho, that'll be the end of this little video. If you like this video, then check the like button and subscribe for more. And I will see you all later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.